I
love geography.
Geography.
Good girl.
Hello.
Right, Mummy's got some things to show you.
Okay.
Which one do you want to look at?
I don't know.
That one? Okay. This, Ava, is called a clinometer. Can you say clinometer?
Tomato.
Good girl.
Uh-huh.
You have to look through there at Mummy. What can you see? Mummy, look at Ava through it. Oh, good choice, Ava May. This is a tape measure. Pull this bit. Whoa.
Yes.
Yep, this should be in good hands with a toddler. Right, you have to pull this button here, look. Ready? Boop.
Okay.
Okay, you do it. Clinometer again.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another clinometer. Is called a caliper. Can you say caliper?
Caliper.
Good girl. Let's have a look. How many centimetres is your foot? Ooh, let's have a look. 11.5 centimetres. Whoa. Caliper. Clinometer. Yeah. And this one, Ava. Clinometer. And tape measure. Right, girls, are you ready? We going to the beach? Hello from a very sunny Slapton. What a gorgeous day to collect some geography fieldwork. Ava, are you doing your GCSEs?
Mm-hmm.
You are, good girl. Are you at Big Girl School?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Excellent news.
I'll
Layla, are you doing geography A-levels?
Are
Are you? Good girl. The girl's taking refuge in some of the coastal management that's protecting that sea road. Right, Ava May, can you remember what this pole is? It's a ranging pole. We're going to use it as a marker so that we don't forget where we were stood. Right, we're going to use your orange and we're going to throw it in the sea and see how it travels to go longshore drift. You ready? One big throw. 1, 2, 3, go! Whoop! There goes our orange. Trying to find where it's got to, but can't currently see it. I don't know if you can see it. Just on the crest of the wave now. You see it there? There's a little orange. So we're nearly in line with it. Let's keep going, Ava. And our ranging pole is way down there. And that was how far it travelled in 5 minutes. So what I should do is get my tape measure out and measure how far away my ranging pole is to see how far my orange has travelled. And that is definitely showing that longshore drift is carrying stuff like my orange from Torcross down to Slapton. Well done, Ava. Very good evidence. Better now to measure how steep the slopes are. Done. Keep pulling. All the way back to the pole. Keep pulling. So that is about 2.45 metres. So we're going to see what the angle of this slope is now. Good girl. Right, we're going to look through here at the pole. So I'm going to measure from this red line on the ranging pole to the same red line on that ranging pole so that it's equal height, and I can measure the change in angle. Looking through the clinometer and hopefully reading off the angle. You might be able to see when it catches focus. There are some numbers inside there. And again, you can get your partner to check this because the edge of the clinometer has got a measuring stick as well. So I will look through now. So I would say that angle is plus 15 degrees plus. Now that's not the only way we can measure the angle. We can use this clinometer as well. It looks more like a trigger gun. So the same applies. You would look down at the gun at these focus points, pull your trigger, and then release it, and it will hold the position of the angle. So I'm going to measure that up on my ranging pole and see if I've got 15 degrees. Yeah, perfect. Both my clinometers agree. It's about 15-degree angle. Okay, I've come down to my ranging pole again, and I've put the other ranging pole at the back of the beach to do a full beach angle. And what I've just discovered is it's about 18 degrees. Okay, so what you may have noticed is this beach is made up of shingle. Are they smooth or are they sharp?
No, it's cold.
Oh, they're cold, okay. And if you look at this beach, it's got quite a steep profile here. Can you say caliper? Good girl, this is a caliper. So we're going to put some stones in the caliper and see how big they are. Do you want to pick a stone? That one. You put it in Mummy's caliper. There we go. And what we're looking for is the longest part of the pebble. So it's called the L-axis, and we'll measure the L-axis. So put the pebble in, and then I can read off on here that the pebble is about 7.8 centimetres. Ava, can you pick another pebble, please? Good choice. Okay, the L-axis on this one, the longest point there. And we put it into the caliper. And that one is about 5.1 centimetres. Each of your sides, you'll need to gather at least 20 pebbles, ideally, to be able to get a representation of the whole beach. If I had just gone with the original pebble that Ava picked out, it would tell me that all the pebbles on the beach are this size, and that's not true. Just looking around here, you can see the size difference. So we need to gather quite a few to be able to get a good representation of what the size pebbles are at this point on the beach. Some more things that we can do to see if longshore drift is happening, and that is, I've got wonky ears. Sort that out first of all. There we go, that's better. We can collect some stones at each site and compare them and see if the average stone size is getting bigger or smaller or not changing at all. So I'm just going to pick out some stones at random from where I am at the first site, collect them and keep them until I move on. Okay, equally you don't want to pick your stones to sample just from the back of the beach, because you might be able to see just along here, this is nice and sandy in front of the management, but directly in front there's lots of bigger shingle, and that will have been abandoned there during a storm. When the waves are really powerful, they can pick up the biggest material and dump it at the back of the beach. So if you measured just pebbles here, you would think that all the beach was made of really big pebbles, and it's probably not. When we look further down, it gets smaller again. So ideally we want to collect material the full width of the beach to get a really good representation of this area. Okay, so other things that you can do is to measure the width of the beach and see if the beach is getting wider or thinner the further down you go. Now on this beach you should see that it gets wider at that end, because we've said, according to the orange, that longshore drift is happening that way. So more material is getting carried from there and taken away from down here in Torcross. So that partly explains why Torcross has got this great big sea wall in front of it. It's losing material, and it's got these really valuable houses behind it that need some form of protection, as well as this really important access road. Time for a quick snack break. How are the chocolate fingers, girls? Tasty? some riprap in front. And then as we go a bit further down to a really vulnerable stretch where it's particularly narrow, the bar in front of the lay, there is a little bit of a concrete recurved seawall. Right, if we look closely at this bit of protection here, you can see that one of the problems with metal management at the sea is that it corrodes. The salty seawater and the metal react. That's a form of chemical erosion, and actually there's bits that you can easily flake off here probably. So over time this will need some sort of maintenance and management, and it might be the cheap option, but there's a reason it's cheap. So we've moved down to halfway along the bar now. We're just right at the end of the lee at the back of this car park, and as you can see, the car park is very vulnerable at the minute. Lots of the tarmac is eroding into the sea, and they've got these logs to warn people where the edge of the car park actually is. And already you might be able to notice that the beach is now much more sunny and fine-grained, but we'll test out our theory in a minute. We have got 2 beach terraces still. There's one shallower one here and the one that we are sat on up to the edge of the beach, but hopefully you can see from the screen that the beach is much wider here than it was down at Torcross. Okay, Ava is filling up our pot for site 2, and I've just opened the bag up for the pebbles of site 1, and already you might be able to see the difference in the size of the sediment. Now, measuring sediment at this stage with the caliper becomes quite tricky. Trying to fit something so small inside the caliper. So what's best to do is just line your stone up, your L-axes, on your ruler and measure from there. So that's about 6 millimetres. Okay, I am at the final site now, near the little lime cafe, and if you have a look behind me how big the beach is, it's huge. So I've just brought my other sediment samples down to compare. But here we are. Look how big that beach is now. Huge. Right. And there's site 1.